What's up, everybody? So coming to you this morning with the Lomachenko versus Lopez breakdown video. I'm going to talk about the matchup itself, each fighter coming in, what they got going for them, and I'm going to ask the questions, do I think they can win, or what kind of fight they need to fight, do I think they can win, and how do I think they can win. And then I'm going to do the prediction at the end of the video. So let's jump into it. We're going to look at the reigning unified lightweight champion, one of the pound-for-pound best boxers in boxing, Vasily Lomachenko. Lomachenko, I mean, I've said it multiple times in videos. I've never seen a more purely talented fighter than Vasily Lomachenko, ever. In my time, I don't want to talk about past times. I can watch videos of Ali, stuff like that. To me, that's not the same. We'll talk about in my time. This includes Manny Pacquiao. This includes Floyd Mayweather. I believe Vasily Lomachenko is the most purely talented fighter I've ever seen. Doesn't mean he's going to accomplish the same things as Pacquiao and Mayweather, but that's my opinion. That's my belief. The guy is amazing. Now, what does he got? Let's take a look at Lomachenko coming into this fight now. Yes, he's the unified champ. He has 2 belts. Should have 3 because he unified belts last year. But he hasn't fought since August 31st of last year when he beat Luke Campbell from the United Kingdom, former gold medalist. He beat him over 12 rounds. Pretty convincing decision. But, Campbell fought hard. He had his moments early. But Lomachenko just... if he's not winning the whole fight, he is definitely a second half of the fight fighter. He has been proving that over and over and over. Prior to the win over Campbell, he absolutely destroyed Anthony Crolla with a 4th round knockout win last year in April. In 2018, he had wins. In my opinion, his best win was against Jorge Linares when he came back in May of that year, captured his first lightweight title after getting knocked down in the 6th round and also being injured. And he stopped Linares in a great, very close fight in the 10th round to capture the WBA lightweight title. He went on later in 2018 to unify belts, beating Jose Pedraza, who was a 2-division champ. So Lomachenko, really in his career has only been defeated once. It was in his 2nd fight when he challenged for the vacant WBO featherweight title against Orlando Salido. And most people feel he should have won that fight, myself included. But it was a close fight, but Salido was a seasoned veteran. He also came in overweight for the fight. How much weight or how much you think that weighs on a fight, really irrelevant. He also had a lot of fouls in that fight, did Salido. He fought dirty. And there's people that thought that he should have been deducted points for his fouls, and Lomachenko still barely lost a split decision. So, goes to show you right there, Lomachenko's the real deal. That's the only defeat. He's beaten fighter after fighter with talent, former champs, and he just doesn't beat them. He whips their ass, start to finish. Outside of the Linares fight, which people need to give a lot more credit to Jorge Linares for how purely talented he is, Lomachenko, hasn't really been tested outside of Salido and Linares. And even Linares, he rallied in that fight injured after taking a flash knockdown and stopped Linares impressively in the 10th round on a body shot. Beautiful shot to the ribs. So, heading into this fight, he's going to be out of action. It's going to be about 13 and a half months, since he fought. Lomachenko, though, he's an older guy, and the last couple years, he's had a couple injuries, and that's kept him out of the ring longer than he was used to fighting. Like, he was used to fighting 3-4 times a year. And then I believe it was 2018, he really, because he had an injury that year, it really kind of slowed him down in terms of his pace and how often he fights. And, he's kind of built himself to this, to where layoffs are okay. a little bit. So he's kind of trained himself for it. But, let's look at what style fight does he need to employ against Teofimo Lopez, the undefeated IBF champion. Well, I really think Lomachenko needs to do what he normally does, and he doesn't need to be overtly aggressive. Lopez is fast, and he's got power too. And I really think Lomachenko, if he hasn't fought anybody as fast as Lopez, he needs to really kind of see what Lopez is going to come out and do. If Lopez is going to come out and try to keep it in the center of the ring, he needs to just counterpunch and show that he's the better boxer and that it's really not about speed, it's about timing. Lopez has good timing, but he's young, and he's not nearly, in my opinion, not yet on Lomachenko's level, so in terms of talent. So, in kind of that ring veteran thing. So I think Lomachenko needs to really prove he's the better boxer, but he doesn't need to overdo it. He needs to see how Lopez is going to come out and figure him out is what he needs to do. Don't let him, throw those big shots and land something big. He needs to really be on defense and just see what Lopez gives him and then take advantage of openings. But I think he needs to figure him out early, first 4 or 5 rounds, and then open up and, second half of the fight, take over and really shut things down. I think if he can do that, if he can stay out of harm's way for the first 4 or 5 rounds, I think the second half will be his. And I think he totally dominates the second half of the fight, is what he could do if he does his style the way I think he should fight. Then I think he's gonna probably stop Lopez in the late rounds. He can stop him in the late rounds if he does that, or possibly go to the scorecards. But I think that's his best chance of winning, is to take Lopez deep. If he can do that, I think he's got a good shot at winning the fight. So that being said, do I think he can win by knockout? I do. I think Lomachenko knows how to break people down. When he gets pissed off, he knows how to hurt people. And I really think maybe he can hurt Lopez early, maybe, like one punch type power. But it's really going to be an accumulation of punches and great combinations. That's how his most impressive knockouts have happened, based on great combinations and perfect timing. And if he can do that, yeah, absolutely, he can knock out Lopez. Can he win a decision? Absolutely. I think he's the better boxer. He's the better fighter. He can absolutely take Lopez deep. I honestly think if it goes past 6-7 rounds, Lopez is done. I don't think Lopez can win. If it goes past, if it gets to 12, it's going to be very difficult for Lopez to pull off a decision, in my opinion. So I absolutely think that Lomachenko can win a decision for sure. That's actually what he should plan for. And then if a knockout's available, go for it. But definitely think Lomachenko can pull it off. Now, let's take a look at the underdog, Teofimo Lopez, the undefeated IBF champion. What's he got coming into this fight? Well, he had a pretty solid year actually last year in 2019. He fought 4 times. He beat, I think it was Diego Magdaleno, Jesse's brother. Absolutely fucking knocked him out hard. I think it was a 7th round win. He knocked out another former world title challenger, decent fighter. I can't remember the guy's name. He knocked him out pretty clean. And then he brought that into a fight. I forget the Japanese fighter's name. He was undefeated. And he kind of got tested in that one, but he cleanly outboxed the guy. He beat him by a clean decision, but he got tested. And a lot of people, really questioned his work ethic. He said he had a lot going on in his personal life. But then that led him to Richard Comey for the IBF title in December. A lot of people thought he was going to lose this fight. He actually came in the underdog. I didn't think he was going to lose. I picked Lopez to win, but I absolutely didn't think he was going to win the way he won the fight. But Comey came right to him, and Lopez landed a beautiful right hand in the second round that Comey just, walked right into, and he got hurt badly, got put down, and basically couldn't recover. Lopez jumped on him, and a second round TKO win. Absolutely the biggest win of his career. So huge win right there. Lopez, though, coming into this fight, we're looking at pretty much a 10-month layoff. This guy is not used to that long of a layoff. Plus, he only fought 2 rounds when he fought Comey back in December. That could play a part. Ring rust could play a part, but also not going deep into fights a lot can play a part. And, he's not went too deep with really good fighters a lot in his career. And this, in my opinion, is the big advantage that Lomachenko has over Lopez. Lopez is going to be interesting to see how he handles that. Because, like I said, this kind of layoff, this guy's used to fighting 4 or 5 times a year, and now he's looking at a 10.5-month layoff, and then he's facing one of the pound-for-pound best fighters in boxing. So definitely the underdog coming in, but he's riding a lot of confidence after the win over Comey, because nobody thought he was going to beat him like that, and there's more people that thought he was going to lose. And Comey has established himself since 2016, he's established himself as one of the top lightweights in the world. So that was a huge win, and a tough motherfucker that he knocked out. So yeah, definitely. Now let's take a look. Teofimo Lopez, basically, what does he need to do to win this fight? I say it a lot when I do these breakdown videos, but Lopez has to have a perfect night. His speed has to be on point, and his timing. And he really, to be honest, he has to outthink Lopez. He has to outthink Lomachenko. How he does that, I don't know. But if he can do it, he needs to really try to set something up early in the fight, in my opinion. I think he needs to try to impose his will and really hurt Lomachenko early. Hurt him. He doesn't need to knock him out. A knockout, of course, would be huge. But he needs to impose his will, see how Lomachenko takes it, see how Lomachenko takes his power. He really needs to try to get in there and see how Loma takes his power. He needs to not be cautious early. He needs to go after it. Of course, he needs to be on defense, but he needs to not worry about Lomachenko's power so much, his combinations for sure, and setting up a big shot, but he really needs to see what the speed advantage is, what the timing advantage is. The difference, really, not the advantage. He needs to try to get an advantage, but he needs to see what the difference is between their speed and their timing. And then he needs to see how Loma takes his biggest punch, the right hand. And he needs to try to get that left hook in. So if he can do this in the first half of the fight and not knock him out, he might be able to have some success in the second half of the fight. He just might. He might be able to prove that he can fight deep into a fight. That's going to be his biggest key, though. Can he go deep into this fight and still win? That's going to be the key. So, do I think he can win by knockout? If he lands the money punch, he has the power. But if he wins by knockout, I really think it'd have to be early. I don't think he can stop Loma late unless Loma just becomes a different fighter overnight and Teofimo just has every advantage over Loma. It proves that he's faster, the timing's better, and he just imposes his will and kind of beats Lomachenko up, and it goes deep into the fight. Then he can stop him, but I really don't think he can. I don't see that happening, but if he can catch him early, he can probably, and catch him really, really good, he can beat him. Now, can he win by a decision? Man, that would be really hard. He'd have to really have every advantage and beat Lomachenko. So, man, I really just don't see him winning a decision over Lomachenko. If it goes to 12, I really think he's going to lose this fight. But, you never know. It's youth versus, experience, and it's one of those things. We don't really know how good Teofimo Lopez is yet. We don't. And this is going to be the proof of how good he really is. So, it's possible, I guess, but I really don't see it happening, a decision. Okay, so now, finally, who do I think is going to win this fight between Vasily Lomachenko, Teofimo Lopez, and become the lockdown #1 at lightweight and the unified lightweight champion, holding 3 of the 4 world titles? it's pretty clear for me. Vasily Lomachenko is going to win this fight, and he's going to win impressively. I'm sorry to say I like Lopez a lot. I do. He's young, very fast, very talented, throws great combinations, sets up his punches well, and is smart. But he is nowhere near where Lomachenko is right now. I think he's too green for Lomachenko, and I really think Lomachenko is going to put it on him. Loma needs to prove this. He is always trying to prove that he is the best. And Loma's one of those guys that has that rare quality that he can figure you out and change the fight like that, you know? And it's almost like he's sometimes in cruise control, and then he gets hit or he figures something out about you and then just turns it on. And these days, there's not a lot of guys that can do that. I think Terrence Crawford's one of the other rare guys. And Canelo has some of that, but I really think Crawford and Lomachenko have that quality, and they can take over a fight whenever they want, especially after they figure you out after 3 or 4 rounds, and I think that's what's going to happen. I think Loma's going to figure Lopez out after about 3 or 4 rounds. He's going to take over. He's going to bust him up, break him down, and I think he's going to stop the kid in the later rounds, 8, 9, 10, something like that, and he will have an impressive TKO victory to win. If Lopez, if he can't stop him, it's going to be a clear decision win. I don't see this fight being superbly competitive. Maybe a little early it's competitive, but I don't think Lopez is competitive with Lomachenko, especially once it goes past 5 or 6 rounds. Vasily Lomachenko wins this fight and will be the unified lightweight champion, still adding another world title and proving that he's right at the top of the pound-for-pound list. So that's it, guys. That's the breakdown. That's Vasily Lomachenko versus Teofimo Lopez. October 17th, the main event, regular ESPN. It's going to be free to everybody. Make sure you check it out. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed it. True Boxing. You've been hit with the truth.